So we've talked a lot about growing your business, but what does it really mean? What is revenue growth after all? Revenue growth refers to an increase in sales of a company between certain periods, like from January to December, or monthly or quarterly. It's really expressed as a percentage. So previously you heard me say I'd like to see you grow your business from 12 to 15% per year. That's how you measure revenue growth. It shows how much a company grew in revenues from one period compared to previous periods. Investors usually calculate it quarter over quarter, QOQ, or year over year, YOY. A company that achieves a report or reports high revenue growth will likely represent a high return on investment possibility for you as an entrepreneur or for someone who might want to invest in your business. Or it's good news to your customers and business partners as well. Growth is always a good thing. Look, it really is a great indicator that you're onto something really important. So a quick example is a company called Nadivia, which grew its revenue from 10 million US dollars in 2019 to 16 million in 2020. That was a 52% revenue growth. Well, I think that's kind of what they call a unicorn, but that's an example. We will cover the revenue growth formula in the next part, but the point here is that Nadivia's revenue growth provided a 113% stock profit during the whole of 2020. So the investors were super happy. For a better understanding, we have to remember the relation between revenue and earnings are different. Earnings is after your expenses. So I'm really just talking about revenue growth. Hello. Hey, we've been talking conceptually a lot about business growth and how to grow your business. Now let's get down to some tactical ideas that could really help you and you can roll out and implement. First off, I want to really congratulate you on making it this far. This is really the meat of the concept, so let's get started. Here are 10 activities a business can do to increase revenue growth. First, let's boost your existing customers' revenue. How do you do that? Well, you can upsell and cross-sell your offers a premium version of existing products. So something a little bit more creme de la creme, if you will, or an extended service offering, or recommend complementary items. So an example of this might be if you're rolling out a service, you may package it a little differently. You might package it so that's sort of like a bundle, and then it makes the client feel like it's all in one and much more easy to do and easy to use or deploy that way. The other thing that's important to do is go back and analyze their purchase history and preferences to personalize recommendations. Now, you could do this by understanding what they've done in the past by using customer relationship management systems. So on the expensive side, you'll have Salesforce.com, and on the least expensive side, I would suggest Zoho. They have a really low-cost customer relationship management. And there's a lot of in between, but those are the two that I'm particularly familiar with. Reward your repeat customers with points or discounts through a loyalty program. And that gives them an incentive to continue your patronage and keep them, apprised of that. And really bring it up every time you see them. I have a coffee card at my favorite coffee shop, but it's the last thing on their mind when I'm buying coffee that I might have that card in my purse. And if it's not important to them, it isn't important to me really. So make sure that your point of sale individuals are reminding everyone about your loyalty program and the benefits of the loyalty program. Even talk about it in dollars and cents while they're at the counter, and make sure they get credit for every single time they do business with you. Improving your customer retention is really, it's easier to keep a customer than to get a new one. So that's why we talk about this first. Focus on an exceptional customer experience. Same coffee shop. They've spent a lot of money on a beautiful decor and a beautiful seating and that type of thing. But there's something about the coffee shop. It just doesn't feel like I'm welcome in the coffee shop. I don't know why. It just doesn't have that community vibe. And I'm not sure if that gets down to training the staff so that they're much more inviting and welcoming. It always comes from the top. So make sure that your staff welcomes your clients, makes them feel super comfortable, and that they're very much appreciated. And engage them in things that they care about. Proactive engagement will keep a customer satisfied and loyal. You know, this coffee shop has the best coffee in town, but I'm reluctant to stop there, even though I love their coffee, because I always get this kind of a icy, chill reception. And so that's just my own experience. Encourage referrals and testimonials, even with them treating me and everyone. I'm not thinking it's just me. I know that's probably something that they need to work on. I still refer people to them because their coffee is amazing. So I'm sure you've heard the saying, what gets measured gets done. And so if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Those are amazing little quotes, and I live by them. I really think that the answer to this is the spreadsheet. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the metrics and spreadsheets that you should have regarding your business growth. Because again, you want to measure what it's like today and where you're going in the future. So let's take a look at this example. Briefly describe. So I've got a icon here of a spreadsheet. And so what's the goal of this particular spread? It's a spreadsheet dashboard for sales initiatives. And so my activity is to describe the specific activity that I'm implementing. For example, maybe I'm launching a loyalty program, or maybe a targeted social media campaign. What you want to do is put the date down and track the launch date and the implementation period of each activity. And then you want to say, hey, here's my budget. I'm allocating X amount of my marketing budget to this particular loyalty program launch or media campaign. You know, you allocate a budget for each activity and track the spending and the measure of cost effectiveness. This is a very important aspect of, and if you aren't comfortable with spreadsheets, I know that Excel is probably the most used spreadsheet, but Google Sheets is becoming a very well used spreadsheet as well. And so find a spreadsheet that you're comfortable with and get comfortable. If you're not comfortable now, through training, online training, it's really good to become familiar with the ins and outs of spreadsheets and really become a pro at that. So again, let's talk about the metrics for upselling and cross-selling. What would a spreadsheet look like if you're tracking your upselling and cross-selling into your existing customer base? Calculate the percentage of existing customers who purchase additional products and services. So let's say, are they buying more modules from you? Are they booking more services with you? Are they repeat customers? Are you able to really quantify each transaction that particular client booked with you? And then also you want to do the average order value. What's the average order value, and how does your customer compare there? Like track the different order values and look at, okay, so we talked before about the goal. If you wanted to grow your business by 12 to 15%, what does that mean this year, this quarter? And then back into how much more your transactions are going to need to cost, or bill, how much more you're going to have to bill to make sure that you do grow at that rate. And then you want to look at your customer lifetime value, analyze the total revenue generated for a customer over the lifetime so you can really assess the impact of customer retention, and make sure that your spreadsheet is, and remember, we could go over those together. If you do decide to reach out to me, I'd love to see your spreadsheets. And this is our last spreadsheet slide around your existing customer growth. Again, we're trying to grow your business first with your existing customers. Remember, it's easier to keep a customer than to get a new customer. So this is another thing we should do to make sure our customers are happy, and we track it. So customer churn rate, monitor the percentage of customers who stop doing business with you during a specific period. So if you normally see a customer every 6 months or every 3 months, or if, nail salon every couple weeks, are they stopping by, or are they kind of fading out? Are people coming and going? Customer satisfaction score, conduct a survey, and use customer feedback tools. There's Monkey Survey on the internet. There's a lot of different ways. Google has some built-in free services for surveys, and you can measure your customer. You can even create your own forms. And so then you'll want to look at your customer's lifetime value, net promoter score, and track the likelihood of customers recommending your business, how likely, engage it. These things are really critical to business growth. But I guess you can probably see why sometimes these things are overlooked, and why a business may start to plateau in growth. If you see your business starting to plateau in growth, it's really probably due to not having a serious strategy for business growth by deploying some of these ideas. So now let's look at attracting new customers. We talked about existing customers and what we can do to ensure their repeat business. Well, let's attract some new customers. And it's always so exciting to get a new partnership with a client going. I love this. So what you need to do is first refine your target audience. Who is your ideal customer? And this is something you should do time and time again as your business grows. Are you still targeting the right demographic? Are you still targeting the right size business? Have their needs and wants changed? So clearly define, again, your ideal customer and tailor your marketing efforts to resonate with their needs and interests. Launch targeted marketing campaigns. Leverage various channels like social media, email marketing. Amazing. A lot of people think that email is going away and that social media has taken over. Well, I always say, how do they get their social media? How do you sign up for Facebook? It's with your email. So email is alive and well, and people check it every day. Content marketing is very critical, and paid advertising is very key. This is where you would make a decision. Should I promote this post and pay money to either, YouTube or Facebook or Google AdWords? Or should I try to do some organic growth through blogs and the like? I think you need to do a little bit of both. Track and analyze your campaign's performance, again, through those spreadsheets, and we'll talk about that in our next slide. Offer time-limited promotions and discounts. Create appealing introductory offers and special deals to attract new customers and encourage your trial of your products and services. Another way to attract new customers is through affiliate programs, and this would really grow your business. And so we talk a little bit about affiliate programs in the past. Affiliate programs can really help you create a very big growth, almost astronomical. Remember, we talked about the Apple versus RIM case study. Well, another thing Apple did to become incredibly dominant is that they partnered with Microsoft Windows, but prior to iTunes being available in Microsoft and running on the Microsoft platform, the only way you could get Apple products was through an Apple device. But with the onset of iTunes and them allowing Windows users to use iTunes, they totally blew up their install base. By simply allowing iTunes to run on Windows, they just blew up their business. And so what a cool incentive for new business. So all of a sudden, all these people who were using Windows PCs now could use the iTunes, and they became a client of Apple. So that's a great affiliate program or business partner program. Keep those kind of ideas in mind. Okay, now let's talk about how we measure our new customer acquisition. So you're going to have all these marketing campaigns happening, or maybe new affiliate programs and new ways to advertise, or you've got some campaign running and you want to know how it's doing. So you need to do lead generation and track the number of leads generated by each marketing channel. And you'll want to put that on a spreadsheet for that particular initiative. You want to track the conversion rate. And what that means is how many percentage of leads versus how many paying customers. So sometimes you've heard that in direct mail, even to get a 3% return, so let's say you send out 100 letters in direct mail and you only get 3 clients out of that. That's supposed to be a good result. And so make sure that you have proper expectations for the return on these initiatives and these campaigns, and know that that's where marketing testing is important to see, okay, this particular campaign brought in only 3%, but this campaign brought in 5%. So we're going to want to do more of this and less of that. The only way you can really track that is through, watching the numbers, and what gets measured gets done. And if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So you must manage it by measuring it. What's the conversion rate, and how frequently do they repeat? Customer acquisition costs. All these things are very critical, and make sure you put those on your sales dashboard. If you're spending money or time on these sales initiatives, it's very important to track it on a spreadsheet so that you know how you're doing. It's like, bringing the report card home. Hi, we're going to optimize our pricing and sales in this particular section of the class. Review and adjust your pricing strategy. Analyze your competitors. Maybe your prices are too low, and because of that, your customers feel like you're not as valuable as some of the other brands that they have to choose from. And if you do have a premium brand and your client is a little naive, make sure that they know that your brand is premium. Don't assume that they know that. Let's say that you have, brand A and your competitor uses brand B. And brand A is 25% more costly, but it's 50% better product, more organic, more, just better laboratories, more intelligence, more patents, more something to give it that premium status. But let's say your customer is unfamiliar with the brands behind the scenes, and they need you to teach them and educate them on why your brand is a premium brand. For example, we used to sell IBM, and IBM had a great reputation for mainframe computer brand. And so we would constantly let our clients know that we were an IBM business partner, which was always brought a lot of clout to every single conversation that we had in the market. And the production costs to ensure the pricing is competitive. Are you still profitable? Do you bundle your deals like we said before, or possibly have tiered pricing if they purchase in volume? Improve your sales funnel and conversion. This is lingo that comes from online selling. So if you're selling products online, which I recommend that you do, no matter if you have a bricks and mortar store, you're going to want to have an online store presence and make sure every customer that walks in your door understands how to work with you with the online store business model as well as over the counter. It's critical to your growth. Analyze any bottlenecks in your sales process and identify areas for improvement. You know, I just bought an airline ticket from the Delta Airlines website, and I've been wanting to upgrade my ticket to either first class or economy plus. And they sent me emails constantly recommending that I do that. And when I click on the email, it takes me to a site where I have to put in all sorts of numbers I don't have memorized. Like it wants my trip number, it wants my frequent flyer number. I don't have those numbers memorized. Why is it clunky? To me, this would be a bottleneck in their sales process, where if they had automatically put my frequent flyer number in and they're the ones that emailed me to ask me if I wanted to upgrade my flight that's coming up next week. Well, if they know that much, why can't they, when I say, yeah, I do, fill in those fields for me? Because to be honest, I'm driving, I'm not with my database with all those numbers in it, and I basically don't have time to look all that stuff up, and I keep thinking, well, I'll do that later, and guess what? Maybe I won't be able chance to do it, and they've lost out on that upgrade, and I've lost out on that comfortable seat, which doesn't make me happy. Anyway, so make sure there's no roadblocks or process things that stop the streamline of your processes. So, are you overly complicated to get a qualified customer? Are you using telesales, and are they the gatekeeper before they come in the door to speak with a real salesperson? Make sure you nurture those clients and that you create a very smooth progression towards a conversion into sales. And I know it's very techy, but it's worth it. If you're online, you need to take away all those glitchy barriers. And it is tedious, but it's worth the time. Take 2-3 more days with that online sales process and make sure that you test it. You test it completely with your credit card, with your team, like experiencing it like a client would experience it. And then collect and analyze customer feedback while this is all going down. And so actively solicit for feedback, like I said before, with surveys and that type of thing. These are just a few of the starting points of effective activities that will depend upon your specific business, your specific industry, your specific target market and audience. Remember, track and measure the results of your chosen activities to evaluate their impact on your revenue growth and adjust your approach as needed. So let's take a look at a spreadsheet for this activity, the metrics of pricing and sales. So what is your average selling price? Monitor the average price at which products and services are sold. What is your sales conversion rate? Track the percentage of leads and prospects that convert to sales. What is your sales cycle length? Measure the average time it takes to close a sale. And these are all very, very easy to do with your customer relationship management system and your spreadsheet. Here are a couple of different ideas that might help you as we wrap up this business growth, and then we're going to get into a case study. So additional elements I want you to consider are include any additional observation or insights about the performance of each activity. One that comes to my mind, I love trade shows, and I would track the progress of every trade show and what leads and affiliates I create at trade shows. Chart and graphs, you know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. One picture. And so make sure you create charts and graphs and post them and talk to your team about them, whether it's your friend, your mom, your husband, your vice president. I don't know how large your business is, but make sure everybody sees those charts and graphs and compensate them if they help grow those numbers. Target versus actual. Hey, we wanted to do this, we did that. Or we wanted to do this and we did that. Just measure and kind of figure out what went right and what maybe had gone wrong. With that, that's this end of this video. And now we're going to go into a case study. So see you then.